So my opportunity and my pleasure today is to talk with you a little bit about the changing role of the prosecutor as I've seen it and as we're trying to frame it in New York City and in Manhattan. And I will tell you that this clearly, for all of us, has been a very, very changing, powerful, head-lifting moment of the last several years. For me, myself as a prosecutor, I see that the administration, for example, that had previously been a major funder of support to economically disadvantaged communities, for example, moving away from that kind of support. So that has big implications for a city like New York. And I see that on issues of race, and we all see, and we've seen it, reading it in the papers, and it's at the top of all of our minds, certainly over the last several years, that America is focused on race and criminal justice, and who is in the justice system, why, how did it get that way? And one thing that really moved me, that I just want to share with you before I get into the work that we've done, is what I saw when I came into the court in Manhattan 35 years ago when I was a young assistant district attorney in the Manhattan DA's office in 1982. And I remember being sent down to nighttime arraignments. We used to work the court shifts from 1 a.m. to 9 a.m. It was called the lobster shift. And you couldn't be struck but by the fact that 90% of the men and women who were coming in as defendants in court on those hours were men and women of color. And at a certain point, it's just so obvious that you have to ask yourself, exactly how is this happening? I left the office after 6 years, but what was most remarkable to me and what was driving my thinking, which I'll talk about, is when I came back to the DA's office 35 years later to lead it in 2010, and I went down to arraignment. Hours had shifted. We'd eliminated overnight arraignments. What did I see? I saw 90% of the men and women in court coming through court, men and women of color. How was it possible that over 35 years that the same picture would present itself in this courthouse with so much that has been done and so much that we've learned in America and in our justice system in the intervening 35 years? So my challenge, first and foremost, well, first as DA, the fundamental challenge is you focus on public safety, on the streets, against violent crime, against special and vulnerable victims, against terrorism, and against economic crime. And you strive for a justice system, and my job is to make a justice system more fair.